Hi, my name is Paul, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the saxophone embouchure. So when we first start working on the embouchure, we want to be using only the neck and mouthpiece of the saxophone. This way, we don't have to worry about the other parts of the instrument for the time being. So the saxophone embouchure is formed by placing our top teeth on top of the mouthpiece, then rolling our bottom lip over our bottom teeth, which will be the part that comes in contact with the reed, and then forming a seal with our lips around the mouthpiece by saying the words ooh or foo. So when forming the embouchure, we want to make sure that there is equal pressure on all sides, like a rubber band around the mouthpiece. We don't want there to be too much vertical pressure or biting on the mouthpiece, because this will pinch the reed shut and prevent it from vibrating well. We also want to think of keeping the chin flat and that it doesn't bunch up or push forward or pull back too far, and that the mouthpiece is coming in straight on. It shouldn't be angled too high up or down or to either side. So now when we position the embouchure on the mouthpiece, we want it to be at the point where the reed comes away from the table of the mouthpiece or the flat part of the mouthpiece. You can see this by holding up the mouthpiece and looking at it sideways to see where the reed comes away from the mouthpiece. Or you can put a piece of paper in between the reed and the mouthpiece, and where the paper stops is where the reed is coming away from the table of the mouthpiece. So we want to mark this point with our thumb, and then that is where the embouchure should be positioned. So to put this all together, when we form the embouchure, we want to find the point on the mouthpiece where the reed comes away from the table or the flat part. Then after marking that, we're going to put our teeth on top of the mouthpiece, roll our bottom lip over our bottom teeth, then form a seal around the mouthpiece by saying the words ooh or foo, making sure that there is equal pressure on all sides, that we're not biting, and that the chin is staying flat. Then once the embouchure is formed and set, we take a good deep breath and blow air through the neck and mouthpiece. So when forming the embouchure, we also want to be thinking about the voicing, or what's happening on the inside of our mouth. So when playing the saxophone, we generally want to be using what's called a high E tongue position. So if you say the words ah, then oo, and then e, with each one of these syllables, you should feel your tongue moving from low, middle, to high positions in your mouth. Another way to think of this is to position your tongue as if you are hissing. So this is just a starting point for forming the embouchure on the saxophone. Because everyone has a slightly different lip, jaw, and mouth structure, there's going to be subtle differences from person to person. When the embouchure is formed correctly, it should be firm but relaxed. There should be very little tension in it. I like thinking of it as finding a point or feeling of balance, where everything is working well together, and because of that, we can easily produce a good sound with very little tension in the facial muscles. So to practice the embouchure, there's a few things we can do. The first is to develop the strength of the facial muscles that form the embouchure. We can do this by simply taking our neck and mouthpiece and then holding a tone for as long as possible. When we hold the tone, we want to try to get it as focused as possible and to eliminate any waves or shifts in the sound. So it should be a consistent and even tone throughout. So when you're practicing this, try to push yourself. Try to see how long you can hold a note. And by doing this, you're going to strengthen and build the endurance of the muscles that form the embouchure so that you can support it more easily. Another thing we want to practice is consistently forming the embouchure when we bring the mouthpiece into our mouth. So the way we do this is we form our embouchure, blow a tone, and then remove the mouthpiece. Then bring it back in, form the embouchure, blow a tone, and then remove the mouthpiece again. And we want to do this several times, so we're just practicing bringing the mouthpiece in and forming the embouchure. So when we're doing this, we want to be paying attention to if the tone is starting cleanly right away. So if it doesn't start right away or cleanly, that means the embouchure is not set correctly or soon enough before we start moving air through the instrument. The next thing that we want to practice is maintaining the embouchure while we take a breath. So when we play, lots of times we have to take quicker breaths. We can't remove the mouthpiece from our mouth to breathe. So to do this, we keep the embouchure set, but then we relax the seal of our lips around the mouthpiece and let the air come in. We don't want to be breathing through the mouthpiece or through the nose. So to practice this, we're going to start blowing through the neck and mouthpiece, then take a breath without releasing the embouchure, just relaxing the seal of our lips, and then start the sound again. Notice that my embouchure stayed in position and didn't move when I was breathing, except for the relaxing of my lips to let the air in. So those are the basics of forming the saxophone embouchure. Please stick around for the next video, and thanks for watching.